good to see. Number one, they were getting the calls right, but number two, it wasn't an elongated process. It didn't take forever for them to get the right call. They went in there, we could see the whole process, to see the angles that they're seeing, and then from there, the communication of, hey man, so we're gonna overturn it. The runner wasn't down, he fumbled after that. You can say however you want to say it. Like, I love that. I'm like, thank you. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty dope. And then the last thing I'll say is the kickoffs. The kickoffs were dope. Because I know people, especially you don't ever like talking special teams. You're like anti-special teams.
Right.
But as we see, each game that is always played, special teams always has a meaning, a factor, an impact. And it was good to see the way that they switched up the rules for kickoff, where the kicker is back by himself at the 35-yard line, I believe it is. Everybody else is down on the opposite 30-yard line. Yep. They kick the ball off. Nobody can move until the ball is caught. So it takes down the high impact collisions that lead to a lot of the concussions, a lot of the injuries that players sustain just throughout the course of their career, because special teams is such a high intensity, high contact play. Yep. And then from there, the returners are more than likely going to return now because they know they have some space. They know they have room to make stuff happen. And then it was just exciting to see the one-on-one guys trying to get off blocks, these returners showing their speed, showing their wiggle. So I thought that was a cool element. I did also like how they don't like the touchbacks. Touchbacks are penalized, man. So just seeing the strategy of like how you're going to kick this ball to make sure it's not a touchback, understanding.
Because the one game I watched, one of the kicks didn't make it past whatever it was, the 20 or the 25, and they got a flag for it.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
There's a little bit of strategy.
And one of the best players in that whole league, probably one of the most highly decorated players in that whole league, is a punter, Marquette King.
Yeah.
But I say all pro with the Raiders,
Did you
man.
see that one?
I did, absolutely.
I didn't watch the game, but I saw the highlight on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Holy hell.
But see, I watch special teams, man. So that, like, he's been doing that, man. He always gets his little bob like this before he's about to kick that joint. We always call him like the swaggiest punter out, because all the other punters are just like super just straight and you got to be locked in. He's over that joint just dancing the whole time, catches that joint, bombs it. Yeah, man. So it was dope to see him back out there, man.
Stopped on a dime. That was crazy.
Yeah, so that was definitely dope, man. Yeah, man. But overall, I thought it was a great time. And I'm forgetting to talk about the interviews.
I was going to bring that up.
The interviews were dope.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
As much as I think sometimes that, why are we even doing these interviews? It's just cliches. Just in general. I'm not necessarily saying in the XFL, but like NBA sideline reporters or whenever they come up to NFL coaches at halftime, I'm always like, man, they're just going to be like...
give you the cookie cutter answer.
Yeah, hey, we should have played better. You know, we got to stop the run. But when you're doing it how the XFL did it, you're probably still going to get that, but there's potential for a train wreck. There is cringeworthy / awkward moments.
Well,
and you can't look away. You can't look away.
We definitely saw that, man. Some of the guys cursing and they're like late to bleep, and I'm like, yes, that's an F-bomb. Let's go. And then I love the fact that like they're going up to these people. Either they've just did something really good,
exactly,
or they just did something really bad.
The really bad ones are the ones that you want to see.
Absolutely,
like the kicker missed it. And the reporter goes up to him and is asking him about missing the kick. Like, I can only imagine what's going through that kicker's mind right now. And you're getting it in real time. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I love that element of it. I thought,
but then he made the one before halftime, so you go back to him.
It was a bomb.
It's almost like a real story being played out, because you're getting the insights throughout the whole game in live time. Pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I thought that was dope, man, to be able to see, like you said, the live time action of it, the instant emotions of missing a kick, then hitting a big kick. It's funny you talked about the kick. I thought special teams doesn't matter, man. But yeah, it does matter. And that's the thing that I was enjoying, man. And it was it was a 50... I think it was like
it was a bomb.
Yeah, it was like a 50-something yarder he hit before the half, which was like insane. I was like, okay, I see you, baby. And shout out to Pat McAfee, who's a special teams guy himself, doing some of these sideline interviews, man. So I definitely enjoyed that, man. Overall, I thought it was a highly successful weekend for the XFL. In terms of just your first impression of it, could it have been any better? I don't see how, man. I thought the games gave you the drama that you wanted, the scoring, the fact that they have, like, even when you're not going for two, you're technically going for two with how they do their extra points. You got a 1 point, 2 point, 3-pointer. And I think I have a 4-pointer as well, which is like super far back though. So
I didn't see the 4-pointer.
I want to say they did. Really? Man. I got to check. Yeah. Let's say I thought it was like just dope in terms of just how they could pick and choose. Because even if you were down, I want to say if you were down like 13 or 14 points, they said, no. If you were down, I forgot what they were saying, but it was still technically like in the NFL, it would have been like a 2-score game. Yeah. They were like, you can get this all back right now on a touchdown and going for like whatever they like their most. I want to say it was like, it's a 4-point, I want to say it was, but it would be like super far back. And you get that and you're right back in the game. Okay. And I thought that was the cool part. And then also the way the clock was set up, with it being a 25-second clock, most time in the NFL, with it being a 40-second clock, as soon as you get into 2 minutes, if you don't have any timeouts, the game is essentially over. You can just nail the ball out. True. The 25-second clock wouldn't allow it. You'd have to get it under a minute before you could start doing that. And I thought that was cool because it made the other team still have to play. It made the other team still have to go through and try to execute. And it got interesting in the one game I was watching, the St. Louis and Dallas game, actually, because they couldn't get the clock to run out. And then they had to kick it back. And then the backup quarterback, Landry's backup, ends up throwing a pick to end it. But
he didn't have the it factor.
Oh, man. None of them guys had it outside of Landry, man.
Dude, but outside of all that, even when you bring up the opening weekend effect, could they have had a better opening? I don't think so, just from the standpoint of all the positive buzz, because I only watched the first game. That was the only game that I had on. Like I said, I had it in the background. But if you look on social media, and then you're seeing even articles about the ratings, absolutely, they got like 3 or 4 million people. Yeah. They had really good ratings. But then all the videos they have on social media, they're hitting hundreds of thousands of views. You go on YouTube and just look up XFL highlights. So that is a win just in and of itself.
Come on, bro. We're leading off the podcast talking about XFL football, man. Yeah. You know we don't just lead off with anything. if it's Restart Podcast, then you know it's legit. You know what I mean? So yeah. But man, when you were right though about the viewership or whatever, for context, they said the AAF last year, they opening weekend was 2.3 million viewers. This one, XFL opening weekend, had 3.3 million viewers. So that was huge. Network wise, obviously they were playing on ABC, Fox, ESPN. So they had all of the major network TV covered. Mm-hmm. And then to take it a step further, when they talked about average attendance for these games, they were having 17,800, whereas average attendance for a Pirates game, they were saying like this ticket sold, not sure if these are actually like bodies in chairs, but it was 18,000 per game. So to put it in context, they're right there with a daggone major league team for opening week of a league that no one even really knows is going to be successful or not. So I thought that was really good as well.
I mean, that could be a commentary on the state of baseball too.
Hey man, you call it what you want to call it. AAF wasn't doing that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying that baseball, they got some problems.
Hey man, one's a major league team. That's all I'm saying, man.
At least the Pirates. Man. I mean, because you could be talking Yankees, Red Sox. I'm sure even the Cubs. I'm sure the atmosphere is different at those games.
But they're not just picking one game. They're saying just average attendance overall. Yeah. So if we're talking about an average, it could be a big time game where you get a Yankees team coming in where you know people are going to go to that game, or it could be a Tuesday 1:00 game versus the Reds, and you're like, I ain't going to that.
So next week, maybe the numbers could drop for the XFL, but I'm assuming the schedule is going to flip to whatever team was away is going to be home now.
Right, so that's going to be different probably. Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see if they can keep it up. I'm hoping so, just because just another thing to talk about, just more buzz. Yeah. I like football. Maybe some of these dudes can make it back to the NFL. Yeah.
Or some of these dudes could just be superstars at the XFL as well, man.
That is the other interesting way you could take it.
Because I remember it was a conversation that was had once Landry signed to go to the XFL, and he was their first quarterback. The franchise,
quarterbacks are making bank compared to everyone else.
Exactly. So literally, he was the first guy signed. He's the face of the XFL. Landry Jones is right, the face of it. They signed him. He's on all the promotions. You hear about how they talk about him. Man, well, when Landry comes back, he's their guy. He changed the whole dynamic of this team. Landry Jones, they're talking about, right? And during the season, when Mason had got hurt and Duck was going through his little phase, they were like, man, we should go try to sign Landry back. And I'm saying to myself, like, if I'm Landry, why the heck would I want to come back to compete with Duck when you already know it's 50-50 how they going to do it, where you're the face of an entire XFL league? You are the Tom Brady. You are the Ben Roethlisberger. You are the Drew Brees there. Why would you want to come back to play second, third fiddle with this guy?
Well, did you read that article? I think it was on ESPN, but after he was done playing with the Steelers, I don't know if he got offers elsewhere, but he just kind of wanted to start a life doing something else.
Yeah,
and
he was doing like construction or
he
something
got
like that,
into
right?
construction.
Yeah.
He didn't like just sitting around and not knowing and only getting his chance potentially if someone got injured. So did that, and then news of the XFL pops up, and he was all in. So it goes hand in hand with what you're saying. I don't think he would have liked to come back into this situation, and then all right, he gets some starts for the rest of the season, but then what happens next year?
Because you already know next year is going to be Ben and Mason. Those are their guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want people to just assume that because it's the NFL, everybody's, oh, I got to get back there, because not everybody in that league is going to be wanting to get back there. Where I've even talked to guys in the CFL, same concept. They can go up in the CFL. By the time you get some years in there, you're making six figures and you're a bona fide star. They are selling your jerseys at Foot Locker up there. You come here to America to play in the NFL, and you at best a fifth or sixth rotational guy, maybe practice squad. Nah, I'm cool on that. I'm gonna go over here and be the star.